Stand by for Tomahawk launch.
The attacks have been going on all night and are still continuing. Here on the Enterprise, they're prepared to carry on for as long as required.
It's the beginning of a long and arduous campaign.
Is there anything left to bomb out there?
Yes, there is, as a matter of fact. Good heavens. Hot, huh? How do you like the room?
Okay.
Who's first?
I am, I guess. Can you sum up what the mission was last night, what the success of it, as far as you can tell at this point, and also address the issue, as everyone's talking about, the attempt to avoid civilian casualties?
Of course, the mission last night was for us not to take revenge, but to take the first military step among all of the other steps that the President and the rest of the country are taking towards eliminating the threat of terrorism to the United States of America. And ours is a small component, the military component, and of course our great ship had a good contribution to that military response. We did launch a number of strikes last night. By all accounts, they were very successful. We have several means that we use to measure the strikes. The first information that we have is based upon the video that the pilots bring back. And then, of course, afterwards, we'll use other methods to determine how effective the weapons actually were. and by all accounts, a very high percentage, higher than what we actually trained to, of our weapons reached their targets and detonated. So we're very pleased with the results so far.
And the civilian casualty issue.
We take great pains. One of the things that I think keeps the United States on the moral high ground in this war is that we're not going after innocent victims like the people against whom we're fighting went after in the World Trade Center and elsewhere. We are taking great pains, and sometimes we put ourselves at even greater risk in order to make every effort to avoid civilian casualties and only go after the important pieces, the parts of the country that are actually supporting terrorism.
Captain, can you talk about the obstacles that your flyers encounter in terms of anti-aircraft fire or simply logistics, fuel, distance? What was the hardest thing about these attacks?
Well, these are very challenging missions to plan and fly. They require a lot of preparation to make sure that the weapons that we're using are employed properly, because sometimes you can imagine there are complex flight profiles that the weapons have to do in order to get into a particular position, and the aircraft has to be flown just right to get it there and the weapon system run properly. Of course, they have to do the everyday labor of naval aviation, which is very challenging, and that is launching and recovering an aircraft off of a moving platform at sea in the middle of the night. And then stacked on top of that, we did have some very good challenges logistically last night as far as getting our aircraft long distances over to their targets. A lot of careful coordination with aerial refueling was done, and that went extremely successfully, including aerial refueling just using assets from USS Enterprise, which is something that is quite remarkable that we were able to go that far just with our own aerial refueling. And then, of course, a lot of our pilots came back and reported anti-aircraft fire. Not devastating, not high volume, but definite anti-aircraft fire out there while they were on their missions.
How many drinks on average did your fighter aircraft do?
I don't want to go into exactly how many drinks they had to get on the way back and forth, because that might reveal an operational detail I'd prefer to avoid.
Can you talk to us about your operations with the Vincent and their aircraft?
I don't want to get into too many operational details there. We coordinate very, very closely with all of the other forces that are in the theater to make sure that the timing of our attacks and the flow in and out of the country is properly constructed so that we don't get in each other's way. And I think I'd like to leave it at that, if I might.
Have you spoken with your counterpart over there as far as what sort of success they had?
I have not spoken with the Vincent as far as what kind of success they had. I suspect that it was probably every bit as good as ours, and we'll know more later this morning about what Vincent did. We're primarily focusing on what the tasks that we've been given and making sure we optimize those.
Just a quick follow-up. So did you fly any Canada missions, or can you say?
I can't say. Sorry.
Would it be safe to assume that many of the aircraft, particularly the F-18s and F-14s, flew more than one sortie over the course of the night mission? Yes,
it would be safe to say that one of the things we try to do is to make the most out of the flight deck space and the assets that we have aboard the ship, and we're very good at bringing those airplanes back, refueling, rearming, remanning them, and getting them out very quickly after they return.
Yesterday you told us, I think the way you described it was you said that this time it's personal for the crews here. Have you had a chance to talk to any of the pilots about their feelings having conducted the mission? In relation to what you were saying about their morale yesterday?
I have spoken to pilots that have returned from their missions. They were still, when I spoke to them, pretty much up on the adrenaline that you would expect that they would have running around in their systems doing such an important, exciting mission that they've trained to so hard for so long. And they were not expressing any glee, or they weren't giving each other high fives or anything like that. They were still very much focused on the business at hand. And when I was talking to them, part of the, no job is finished until it's completely wrapped up, and they had to analyze their film last night to ensure that they were actually on the right targets and that sort of thing. So I suppose it'll sink in on them maybe later on this morning or today that they did something terribly important for their country. But right now they really are very focused on their jobs.
Captain, another question about the determination to try and avoid civilian casualties.
Yes?
Despite your pilots' best efforts, how can you be sure that their haven't been significant civilian casualties?
You can never be sure that there aren't significant civilian casualties. All you can do is make every effort that you possibly can throughout the planning process, and to have a very disciplined weapons delivery process to make sure that you've done everything in your power to avoid civilian casualties. So we look very, very carefully at the targets we're approaching. We look at the potential for collateral damage around those targets, and sometimes we might even reject a target because it's so important to us that we keep the moral high ground because it's the right thing to do. And all the way to the point where if the pilot is about to deliver the weapon and is not comfortable with what he or she sees, they will not deliver the weapon, they'll bring it back.
So your assessment based on your initial talks with your returning pilots about this issue is what?
Our initial assessment is that we had a tremendously high success rate in hitting our targets. And if we, in fact, did hit our targets, then the potential for collateral damage last night was very low.
Anyone else? No? Can you elaborate to whatever extent you can on what your targets were, either generically or specifically?
I think I can be pretty generic about it. The Secretary of Defense listed a number of goals that we had last night. A primary goal, of course, was to open up the airspace so that we can not only conduct additional offensive operations, but so that we can do the other half of this mission, and that is to try to help the people of Afghanistan, who we don't have a bone to pick with some humanitarian relief. And the last thing we want to have is a C-17 or something going around in Afghanistan dropping humanitarian supplies, get shot down. So we spent an awful lot of time last night on air defense targets, command and control targets, and I will tell you that we also spent some time on some terrorist targets as well.
Can you tell us as well, and thinking back to the Kosovo and Serbian campaigns, whether there was a minimum altitude from which you dropped your ordnance?
I would not want to discuss any operational matter like that could potentially put somebody in jeopardy.
Did you have any damage for any aircrafts?
We have no damage whatsoever on any of the aircraft. All the aircraft returned safely, completely intact, no damage whatsoever.
All of your aircraft flew?
No, not all of our aircraft flew, and I don't want to give you a misimpression there. We have aircraft down in the hangar bay that are being worked on in various phases of maintenance. I would tell you the majority of the aircraft on the flight deck flew, without a doubt. If I were a pilot, you mean? Flying one of these? I think that one impression I'm consistently left with is that we continue to improve the state of the art on two very important aspects of our business. One is the technical side. Here we've got F-14s out there that are some of the oldest aircraft in the inventory that we have modernized with lantern pods and very sophisticated ordnance, and they're going out there doing missions that I never could have dreamed of doing when I was a younger pilot. It's not even close. And the other half of the equation that we've improved is the air crews themselves. I thought I was a pretty doggone good fighter pilot in my day, but these guys and gals are so much better than I was because they're so well trained.
We've got two different distinct missions, really. When we're actually doing a launch and recovery, we have a rep from each squad. Through the cipher door in the back room is the radar room, and that's where the air traffic controllers do their magic. And, we have it ciphered for a reason. We just got the big strike on here. Probably heard about how the radio controls organized and all around here. And so forth. In any phase, you'll see on the flat camera. We're watching the aircraft come down. We have Mr. Hands up there, which is our plane guard helicopter, and he's always by. And then we've got unsafe gear up. Yeah, we just had one of the aircraft that happened to be recovered here at midnight.
The F-14 due to come back here.
He was well, actually. Until recovery, and then throughout this year. That's right. We have 2350. We've got two tanks. Toss some in the air and get them off the wing before we kick it.
That's a negative.
That's one of the difficulties.
We should be okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, great.
What's your friend?
Yeah, it's fun.
Set him up for being for push start. Yeah, Bob, this is mine.
Why am I saying all right? I don't want to raise them saying all right. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I hope they keep an eye on them down. Standing out here somewhere like they would a tank.
Which cats is everybody stay for recovery?
Anything. Can you recount a bit of your experience last night, what your mission was and how it went?
Sure. Our mission last night initially was to provide some fighter support for some of the aircraft conducting operations in Afghanistan. And a couple times during our mission, our role was changed, which demonstrates the flexibility of naval aviation and what we bring to the fight. We were tasked actually to conduct a strike operation, which we did. And afterwards, after returning to the tanker, we were re-rolled to provide some support for some of the humanitarian efforts that were going on during the evening. So it was a pretty dynamic flight with some changes a little bit right before we walked to the aircraft, and then again a couple of changes airborne.
You were in Afghan airspace, were you?
That's correct.
Okay. Can you tell us what you saw there? Did you encounter any resistance, any anti-aircraft fire?
We did see some AAA anti-aircraft artillery and some other sort of lower altitude surface-to-air systems that were in effect while we were there. Yes.
So there was some return fire from the ground.
Yes, there was.
What was the mood among the pilots like as you set off? I mean, there'd been a long time waiting for this to happen, hadn't there? Everybody's been hanging around for almost 4 weeks. What was the mood like on the flight deck as you all went out last night?
To tell you the truth, it was surprisingly business as usual. This is the 6th month of our current deployment, and we've been engaged in operations in a couple other theaters while we've been away. So we're actually fairly used to the pace and the type of activities that we were conducting last night. So there was probably a little bit more excitement than usual, just based on the ordnance loadouts and things that were happening up on the flight deck. But from our perspective in the aircraft, it was really what we trained to, and pretty much business as usual.
Really, aside from the technicalities of punching in waypoints and that kind of thing for your weaponry, and I know that you've had previous experience here in the no-fly zone enforcement and that kind of thing. Was this mission any different for you because of the nature of this particular campaign and the events that it follows?
No, not at all. We're professionals. It's our job to conduct ourselves professionally, whether we're training or whether we're in actual combat. So other than going master arm on, there really wasn't a whole lot of difference. From a personal perspective, really, again, I just approached it as this is another mission that we're doing in support of our National Command Authority and our government.
Are the skies above Afghanistan a dangerous place to be right now?
Certainly they are. I mean, it's hostile territory, and they're not happy to have us there. So I would have to say yes, it is.
A dangerous place?
Yes.
I'm a radar intercept officer in the F-14.
Okay. Can you just describe to us what happened, what sort of resistance you encountered, what your mission was?
Well, what I can get into is I can let you know that we did a briefed one mission and and demonstrated the true flexibility of U.S. naval aviation and flex to a different mission as we were stepping to the aircraft.
Were you nervous? Was it dangerous up there?
Climbing into the airplane was a little bit nervous, but once we got everything going, I just fell back onto my basic instincts that I've been training for many, many years, and specifically in the past couple of months, I've been training for any possible scenario.
The pilots have been waiting a long time here for something to happen.
Yes.
A long period of waiting. There'd been a long period of waiting before this mission. Was there a sense of relief when you finally took off?
Yes, a little bit of sense of relief that we're actually going to go out there and do something a little bit other than unit level training, which we've been practicing. But you know, even when we're doing unit level training, non-combat ops, we're still practicing like it's the real thing. So, all in all, it wasn't very much different than a training mission.
Did you meet much resistance? Was there any incoming fire from the ground?
There was some limited resistance to our aircraft, and we could see a lot more in other portions of Afghanistan.
But not serious enough to cause you any real problems?
No, nothing too serious to make us worry too badly.
And you hit your target?
Yes.
You can't say what your target was?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. Ian, let me ask you this first of all. There'd been a long period of waiting for you guys before something happened. When you set off last night, what did you feel? I mean, was this more a sense of relief that finally things were happening?
I think a relief would really be the best way to describe it, but it certainly was. It was motivating to finally be able to begin what we were here to do. However, when it actually comes down and you go down the end of the catapult stroke, you're really just thinking about the job at hand, not so much whether you're relieved or whether we're going to go home or anything to do with that. Just the mission at hand is what.
So no feeling of nervousness, apprehension?
I probably should be, but no. I have more nervousness about landing on the boat than anything else. But yeah, we have a job to do and we're going to do it. So as soon as we launch, that's all you think about.
Now, you were up there for a long time. Mm-hmm. You were flying for around 7 hours. Mm-hmm. That must be very physically taxing under those circumstances.
We train for this kind of thing, so it's no more physically taxing than any other training mission. So I would say, yeah.
What about the resistance that you met? Did you attract any incoming fire of any type from the ground?
Well, again, it's best for the more important people to tell you what exactly we met, but they certainly weren't happy to see us there. Yeah.
They weren't happy to see you?
No, they were not. Yeah.
You presumably can't discuss the details of your target, am I right?
No, I can't.
Okay, but was your mission a success?
It most certainly was.
Okay, last question. When you guys all come back from a mission like that, mm-hmm. What is the atmosphere when you all get back together again? And was it one of excitement or?
Well, first, of course, there's always in the back of your head that someone may not come home. So when you see everybody back home, it's a tremendous feeling. And then you then go into the debrief where you talk about, hey, did we execute this properly? How did we do this? So into the technical aspect. So by the time you get to where you're sitting at dinner or chow or whatever, to talk about the personal aspect of, yay, we did it right. It's a number of hours after landing. But so I would say we mostly attack the number one, glad they're home. Number two, the technical aspect, and then we start to talk about the personal aspect of it all.
And nothing went wrong.
As far as I'm concerned, nothing went wrong. They can always change, right?
Good. Been a long time of waiting before this operation got off the ground. When you guys set off, what was the feeling? Was it one of relief or anticipation or nervousness? What was the mood like?
You always have a little bit of apprehension, but everybody was just wanting to execute and do our job and do it right. So, just like you're going into a sporting event and you got your mission to do and given our targets and go get them. So.
As a pilot on a combat mission, what are the skies of Afghanistan like? Is it dangerous to fly over Afghanistan now?
There's a degree of danger over any possible or potential hostile land. Yeah, so there is danger, but it's I wouldn't call it excessive. So.
Did you attract, I mean, was the fire around? Were you aware that there was incoming fire aimed at you?
Mostly it was small, what I would call small arms stuff, and I would not say it was threatening to my aircraft, no.
So there wasn't a moment when you felt that you could have been shot down?
Not last night, no. I don't think so.
And in terms of your mission, did you achieve your target without any problems?
Yes, we did.
Last question, when you got back, everybody unwinds. What was the mood among the pilots like when it was all over?
Happy to be able to contribute, and everybody was really pleased that there's a lot of people on the ship and the squadron that would give anything to do the job that we get to do. So the fact that we got to go out and do it, execute it, and everything went well, and the airplane worked as advertised. The ship got us off the deck. It's a big relief. There's a lot of people on this ship, a lot of people in the military and at large that are really committed to doing what we're called to do. And a lot of these folks you see walking around this hangar bay right now put a lot of time and effort into making sure I can do my job. So I got the easy part.
A lot of people at home were obviously rooting for you. A lot of people at home wanted this attack to happen. Did you feel that you were striking a blow for the people of New York and Washington?
I feel like as a member of the military, whatever the president tells us to do, and I'm fully in support of that. And certainly this has been a pretty emotional few weeks for all of us here with being out on the ship, and everybody has been affected directly or indirectly by what happened on September 11th. So we not a feeling of vengeance, but a feeling of we're doing what we're called to do and doing it right. So.
You were hitting back at last.
Contributing to war on terrorism, I guess I would call it. So.
Thanks. What was the level of danger to you during this mission? Did you attract much or any incoming fire during the course of the night?
Well, there were individuals that saw very small arms fire, that sort of thing, but we were able to minimize the risk to ourselves. Afghanistan doesn't have a particularly robust surface-to-air capability, so we felt that we had well assessed the risks and felt good about our strategy for carrying our mission out.
And presumably that threat would now have been for any future missions that may or may not be conducted. That threat has now been presumably reduced even further.
I think one of the stated objectives of our campaign right now is to reduce the surface-to-air threat in Afghanistan.
You've been sitting on this aircraft carrier for quite a while. Everybody's been waiting for something to happen. What was the mood last night when you finally got going?
I think people have been ready to carry out their mission, and I think people were looking forward to the prospect of doing our job and doing it as well as we can. So I think there was a general mood of anticipation in trying to execute this mission and do it well, and everybody's working hard at their individual jobs and contributing all that they can.
When we came on board, the captain gave us a little talk, and one of the things he said was that this was personal because this was in response to a direct and very extraordinary attack on the United States. Did it feel to the pilots, was there that element in there that it was personal?
I don't know about personal, but we certainly feel responsibility as representatives of the United States to do our job, and I know that everyone on board feels that. I know, talking to our troops who work very hard to get our planes launched, they feel an element of pride in the fact that they are able to communicate that this sort of action won't stand and the United States won't tolerate it.
We noticed that some of the bombs had NYPD written on them by the ground crew. That suggests that there was quite a lot of anger out there.
I think there's a sense of kinship among anyone who feels like they're a protector, and I think that extends from this ship to the New York Police Department and the New York Fire Department. I saw messages just like that.
So you struck a blow for them?
I think that there's a sense that our job here is to remember those that were lost.
Good. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
Enterprise is up here, sir.
How you guys on Enterprise doing?
We're doing well, sir.
Yes, sir. Commander Trigger Squadron 1 and 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit here, sir. Hoorah. You guys are great. Well, sitting here with me today is our Command Sergeant Major, my running mate, my friend. And our purpose is just to let you know what we're thinking, let you know how proud we are of the work you're doing, how proud the nation is of the work you're doing. And I've asked Command Sergeant Major Brown to give you a few of his thoughts. Command Sergeant Major?
Cool, sir. Cool. I'm honored to join the Boston, telling you how proud we are to be on your team, how proud we are of everything that you're doing out there, whether you are the individual maintaining the aircraft that are flying, whether you're up arming them, working the flight deck, or working in flight ops, regardless of what your role is, it's important to the success of the mission, and we're very when we call. Thanks for your dedication, your loyalty, your support. Thanks for your patriotism to this great nation that we serve. We'd ask that you continue to take care of your buddies. God bless you, and look forward to seeing you soon. Cool, sir.
Cool.
Do we have Captain Bennett there?
Yes, sir, you sure do.
Hello, General. How are you, sir? I see your smiling face, sir. I'm doing fine, sir. I just wanted to see your face because our last time I had a chance to talk to you. In fact, I was thinking about it this morning. The last time I had a chance to talk to you, my speech, you got up and walked out. Do you remember that? Actually, I remember that after you walked out on my speech, I finally hunted you down because I saw your name tag on your uniform. And I'll never forget when I found you, I asked you why you got up and walked out in the middle of my speech. And you said, well, General, it was because I had to go get a haircut. And I said, well, Captain, if you needed a haircut, why didn't you get one before I started talking? And you said, I'll never forget it. You said, well, General, I'll tell you what. When you started talking, I didn't need a haircut. Here, sir. Just in memory of that. That's the kind of captain you're working with there in Carl Vinson. I'm only joking. And I know, in fact, that you guys are busy. I was sitting around last night and I was thinking about pilots and navigators and purple shirts and yellow shirts and brown shirts, red shirts. I was thinking about those people who are sitting over there with the CPAC. I was thinking about all the operators, all the staff officers, and all the young people who are doing all the work. And I was thinking about what an honor it is to be associated with the best armed force that our nation has ever seen. You truly are very special. We're all in your debt. I just wanted to tell you that you're in our thoughts and in our prayers. The job you're doing is, in fact, remarkable. One of my friends called this morning and said, hey, General, how are you doing? And then I started thinking about that, living a dream. and what that really means. And then I got a little bit maudlin about it. And I thought, we're living a dream in the United States of America and within the nations who are members of this coalition. In our case, we're living the American dream. We're living a dream where we hope and we believe that tomorrow is a better day than today. The business we're about now of enduring freedom serves several purposes. One of those purposes is made a long time ago when he talked about a remarkable trinity. And he talked about the business of a country. And he said, in order to succeed in anything that a government would do that involves military force and military forces, three things come into play. The first is the will of the people, and you have it. The second is the decision of the state. And as you've heard our president, you know you have it. And the third is the military capability of the armed forces of the nation. And we all recognize that along with contributions of the if you think back in our history, you find times when we've had either the will and not the decision, and not the capability, or perhaps we've had the capability, perhaps we've had the will, not the decision, perhaps we've had the decision and the will, but not the capability. What a blessing we see today, where we find the will of the people, the decision of the state, and the military capability which all of you represent today. Every story has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. It's the beginning of a long and arduous campaign, and you and I know the objectives of that campaign. I couldn't be more confident in the outcome. I couldn't be more confident in the capabilities represented by the people who are hearing this today. I couldn't be more pleased. I couldn't be more proud. But I want all of us to know and all of us to remember and all of us to remind one another that this is only the beginning of a story which will have a middle. Our love for you and yours. Look to your left and look to your right. And 11 years by Lee Greenwood. We've all heard it 1,000 times. But as we make a beginning, it's listen to them one more time. God bless you. I love you all.
I don't know if he's seeing us. Why don't we stand up? Everybody stand up. Okay, I don't want you to miss this moment. I mean, here you had the Commander-in-Chief of the Central Forces call you together today because he wanted to express his thanks to each and every one of you. And through you flows his thanks to all the men and women who helped get your airplanes ready, who flew with you on your wing, who programmed Tomahawk cruise missiles, to the guys down who bring the bombs up to the deck, to the guys who cook the pancakes in the galleys. All those people, close to 7,500 people out here in the Enterprise Battle Group. That's who the sync was talking to, and you obligated to flow that through to them, and I know you will. So we're enormously proud of you all, and I couldn't say it any better than the sync has done. So great honor for the Commander-in-Chief of Central Command to express that confidence and pride in both of you.
Good morning. Good morning. Where would you like for me to stand? Right here? How about with my head right here?
Okay, so what's the latest report on the attacks, Captain, and specifically what, if any, resistance have the pilots been meeting now after 3 nights of these bombing raids?
Well, I think as Secretary Rumsfeld mentioned yesterday, we feel like we've pretty much achieved air supremacy over Afghanistan. And our pilots that were over the beach yesterday reported that there was some AAA fire that was very ineffective, wasn't able to reach their altitude, and they felt that they had a sanctuary there to operate in. But that's not to say that we're not going to continue making absolutely certain that we've got a continued sanctuary there by finishing the job of creating the air supremacy for our forces.
Is there anything left to bomb out there?
Yes, there is, as a matter of fact. In fact, again, Secretary Rumsfeld yesterday, I think, did a good job of painting that picture. We still have a few targets that we have that we want to hit that are left. We are not perfect in everything that we do, so there are some targets we're going to have to go back and restrike. And as he mentioned, there are new targets that we're finding all the time that we want to make sure that we take care of as well. So there's no shortage of work out there for us left.
How would you just sort of sum up the first 3 days of this very intense campaign in layman's language, non-military jargon? I mean, how's it gone? What's its level of achievement?
Well, the first 3 days I feel have been very successful for us. Secretary Rumsfeld pointed that out last night. And as you know, primarily our targets have been oriented towards creating a sanctuary for ourselves and also taking our initial hits at terrorist targets in Afghanistan. And that's gone very well. We feel that our statistical success rate has actually been better than what we have seen during our training for deployments. So we're very pleased with what we've seen so far.
Captain, can you just put that phrase about clearing the way for what comes next or whatever into just a general context which everyone can understand, what you've done so that now it's a safe environment or it's safer to operate over there or whatever?
Well, in order to create a safe environment for all of our air crews, including those conducting offensive power as well as those doing humanitarian aid, we've spent an awful lot of time over the last few days taking on the elements of their integrated air defense system, which would include radars, surface air missile sites, anti-aircraft artillery, and the like. And we feel like we've been pretty successful with that, to include a lot of aircraft on the ground.
Captain, good morning. Once you have established that without any doubt whatsoever that you have air supremacy and you've taken out whatever targets you feel that you can effectively do with bombs, does that then necessarily mean it's the end of the role in this operation for carriers like this, or is there a new role that can be taken on at the next stage?
Other than saying we have an awful lot of missions that we can accomplish out here at sea, I would be speculating on future operations, which I'm directed not to do. So I apologize, but I'm not going to be able to give you a very good answer for that one.
In that case, can I just ask you another question? Could you just talk a little bit about the morale of the people on board? They're now, should have been well on their way back home to be off. How are they holding up?
The morale of our sailors out here is fantastic. They do know that we were supposed to be on our way home right now, but not a one of them is complaining. They understand that we have a very, very important job to do out here, and we're not going to leave till the job is finished. And they understand that there are more than 5,000 families back home that have a much worse problem than we have of being late to see our spouses.
Captain, the Commander-in-Chief described this campaign in the early days as a matter of smoking the enemy out and getting. Have you smoked the enemy out at this point?
I would have to leave that assessment up to the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff to assess the success of the overall campaign. What I will tell you is that what we have been conducting here from Enterprise, we feel has been very successful. As I mentioned before, We statistically measure what we think our success rate is, and it's been considerably higher than what we find during our training missions back home.
And your more immediate superior has talked about this being a sharp shock. Do you feel you've delivered the sharp shock?
Of course I'm going to agree with my boss. Yes, well, it is a sharp shock to their integrated air defense system, which was the lion's share, I think, of what we wanted to do in the early days of Operation Enduring Freedom.
Are the skies safe for American flyers now?
Yes, sir, they are. I believe so. There is always that unpredictable thing that you can't always count on, but our pilots have done a wonderful job. The Tomahawk missiles have done a good job of going out and creating that sanctuary, and we still have more work to do in that area, but that's going very, very well.